Hi everybody, Paul Haywood here. Do you want your saxophone reeds to last and play well for longer? Well, I know I did, and I found something that actually has made that possible. I used to struggle so much that I actually went over to playing synthetic reeds for a while, which helped in some ways, but it did come with its own problems, which I'll cover in another video. In this video though, I want to show you something really simple that's completely changed how long my reeds last, how consistent they are and ready to play, and as well as that, it keeps them completely clean and sanitised. I'd just like to say a really big thank you to my Patreon patrons for supporting the channel and helping me to make content like this for you guys. Okay, so let me show you this magic thing that I've discovered that means that I have been able to come back from using synthetic reeds back to natural cane reeds. It's very simple. It's a little plastic box. Okay, so you could use a little Tupperware tub. This is advertised as a wallet, a waterproof wallet container for going swimming or down the beach or jet skiing, things like that. But it's just the perfect size for putting reeds in. What I'll try and do is I'll put some links in the description if I find anything that would be useful for you guys to give a try. I got this one from eBay, off UK eBay, and I'll put a link for that, and I'll see if I can find something similar on Amazon and anything for worldwide buyers like yourselves. So we've got a plastic waterproof tub. In it we've got a small piece of sponge to hold the moisture. This is pretty wet, as you can see. It's wet with 50% water, 50% vodka in my case. You could use some mouthwash, you could probably use grain spirit, but what we're looking to do is try and have the alcohol volume around about 20%. It basically keeps everything sanitised and hygienic. And obviously the moisture in there is for when we crack open a new box of reeds, get all our reeds and put them in there. So the moisture keeps the reeds wet. Now there's some debate over whether that's good, but for me it's worked. And there's two reasons why it seems to work. Firstly, keeping it wet. Natural cane grows wet. It's in a wet environment, it's got water inside it. When we play the instrument, when we're playing on the sax, the reed's going to get wet. So it's only going to be dry if you let it dry out. And the action, it seems that the action of it drying and then getting wet and drying and getting wet, as it gets wet, those fibres in there swell up, the fibres in the reed swell up, and as it dries out they contract. And it would seem that that action actually weakens those fibres over time, making the reed in general a little bit softer and effectively get too soft to play quicker than it would if you just kept it at a constant humidity. Now we could try and keep it dry all the time, but as soon as you're playing on it, give it 5-10 minutes and you then soak the reed. So it makes sense to, instead of keeping it dry all the time, to actually keep it wet all the time. So if we're keeping it wet, we need the alcohol in there, which is going to keep it sanitised, keep the microbes out, keep moulds and germs, bacteria, viruses away, and basically stop it from rotting in the wet environment. Because it's not alive anymore, it can't necessarily stop itself from rotting in a wet environment, but that's what the alcohol's for. Now I find from when I started doing this that the length of the life of my reeds, so I used to get maybe somewhere between 2 weeks and 2 months out of a reed when I found a good one, depending on its natural qualities and how quickly it became soft. From doing this, I never have a reed basically that lasts any shorter than any less. That's right, a reed that lasts any less than a month, and I've got reeds that just seem to go and go and go. So I've got reeds that I've been playing on my alto and my tenor for probably 3 or 4 months at least. I've got ones in there that have been in the box for 6 to 9 months, and some of them a couple of them are going a little bit soft, but they're still quite playable, and I use them for for days when I've got maybe 3 gigs in a day or a lot of playing to do and I need to look after my lip and just sacrifice a bit of volume and power for a slightly more softer reed that's not going to work my lip so much. So basically this has at least tripled the life of my reeds. I mean, I'm talking about reeds lasting months, heading up towards a year. I don't really know. I haven't changed the packs of reeds in this since I put it in. There's 10 reeds in there. I've got 10 reeds in my Tenor box as well, and that is 2 full boxes of reeds that have gone in, and I haven't had to buy another pack since. So I know some people get a lot of reeds out of a box. I was at a point where I was only getting 2 or 3, maybe if I was lucky 4 reeds that I actually enjoy playing out of any particular box of reeds, and I was trying different companies, trying different reed brands, and I was, sometimes I'd have more in a box, sometimes less, but there was no consistency, and that was really frustrating to me. So what I'm going to show you in the next video is how to actually get more usable reeds out of a box. So before I was doing this, like I say, 2 or 3, maybe 4 if I was lucky, reeds out of a box. Whereas the little tweak I now make, now I can get at least double that out of every box, and combine that with keeping everything wet and ready to play. And reeds have now just completely become not a nightmare. I'm completely lost the hunt for the reeds and on gigs changing reeds over and stuff. I mean, yeah, occasional bits and pieces, whatever, but before, I know some people don't struggle with it, but I was one of those players that I was always changing reeds, and reeds were dying on me really often, and it was so frustrating, and it pushed me over to synthetics, which were great in their own way but had loads of problems themselves, which I'll tell you about in another video, maybe a follow up to my Leger signature synthetic reeds review that I did. And you've got to think, if you put a dry reed on your mouthpiece and start playing it, over time it's changing, and then you might get halfway through and it was playing great at the start and then it's got wet and it's gone, or you put it on and it's horrible to play at the start and then by the middle it's wet and it's great. Or you might keep your reeds dry, soak them before you play, give them a good suck, whatever, put them on, play, and it's great, but you find that the reeds just aren't lasting very long. So this has completely fixed all that for me. I'm now comfortable and happy with my reeds, and just wanted to share that with you so you can partake in some of that relief. I'd love to hear your experiences with your reeds, whether you're struggling with it or whether you've switched to synthetics, or whether how many reeds out of a box you get, how long they last for you. I know it varies wildly, but just on average I'd love to know how you're getting on with that, and I really hope if you give this a try it's going to help you. Ooh, excuse the light there. Don't forget, if you found this content helpful, please do drop me a like. It means a huge amount to me, and it really helps YouTube know that you're enjoying it, and therefore share the video with more saxophone players. I really hope that that this technique works for you and you get more life out of your reeds. Remember to hit subscribe if you're not already, and join me on my next video where I'll show you the one little new trick that I've been doing to my reeds to get so many more usable reeds out of a box. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.